right, Bob, we're here finally. All right, good morning, Brew Crew. Now it's good afternoon today. This is a special transition here. I'm Eric, N1JUR, and I'm hanging out with...
I'm Shannon, KC1OHT in the U.S. or 2 Echo Zero Oscar Hotel Tango in the U.K.
And our special guest...
Hey, I'm Casey, Kilo 3 Sierra Bravo Papa in Philadelphia.
Sweet. And the creator of all things POTACAT here, and we'll get into a little bit of that in a bit. But if you guys are watching, say hello in the chat. I know we've shifted time, so this might be a little different for a few folks here. But again, this is an only one-time episode. We'll go back to our regularly scheduled program next week, so no problems there. You can get back in and feel like you're in, the groove again. But we've got some awesome stuff to talk about today, so we're going to get in there. But definitely say hello. Shannon, who do we got in the chat today? I mean, we're running a little slow today. I think we are. We have to use some of the regulars.
Yeah, we got Roger, we got Bob, we've got Ham Radio Half, we've got Ham Without a Plan. And, who knows who else could roll in as the time goes by.
Cool. And, Bob, we have not gotten the ATAS fix. That's still on the bench over in the corner to be done. So there is some surgery that will have to occur, but we'll keep you updated on that one. But with that, so just kind of give you guys a feel here. If you're new to this, this is Brew and Activate. It's all about real-world POTA, the wins, the slow days, the weird stuff, and the lessons you only learn by doing. So whether you activate, you hunt, or you're just POTA curious, well, hell, you're in the right place, guys. So if this sounds very much like your own conversation, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, hang out with us a bit, and make sure you share and like and subscribe to both Shannon and I's channel. That way it helps support us and keeps all this content out there on the internet for other people to find. So with that, as always, you can always check us out. If you're unable to obviously join us here in the live stream, you can pick us up over on any of your favorite podcast players. Just search Brew and Activate. It's a podcast there. Just download it. And once we usually get our episodes, ripped, we'll usually post them within about an hour of the after show here. So you always get your content on replay anytime you like. And as always, you can always check out all of our merch. We've got all the Brew and Activate merch there over at the storefront at livefreeandham.com/shop. All those links are down in the description below. And all of that stuff helps the show and keeps us running. And we appreciate all those that have supported us in the past and continue to do so in the future. So with that, I think the only thing really big that's kind of coming up, and we covered last week, which is Support Your Parks weekend. Were you guys either into, you've got plans to do stuff?
Well, you know me, I like to fly by the seat of my pants, so I don't have anything hard and fast set in stone. But I will say, looking at the weather as of wait a minute, the weather just changed, okay?
It does. It's New England.
Listen, I swear, now granted, it's over a week away. I swear last time I looked at the weather for Saturday the 18th, it said it was going to be like 70 degrees or 80 degrees, really warm. Now it's saying it's only going to be 52. So I don't know what to believe.
Just don't believe it at all.
Yeah, I guess. I won't believe it until we're like 24 to 48 hours out, I guess. But
wow, you're generous.
Now it says Wednesday the 15th, it's going to be 76 degrees. So
the nerve of all of them changing around the weather schedule just because you're trying to make plans for Support Your Parks weekend. Tough it up. Get out there and do an activation in the cold, girl.
At least, knocking on wood right now, it doesn't say rain. So fingers crossed that stays the case.
Well,
but tomorrow I'm going to be at Minuteman National Park in the morning doing a park cleanup, getting ready for Patriots Day, and then maybe doing a POTA afterwards. Depends on how much time we have.
I'm sure you get both of those in without too much of an effort. You can't leave a park that you just finished cleaning up and not activate it. Right. But you know me, like I can never just get 10 contacts. It's like if I'm not getting 100 contacts, then it's just not worth it. Well, wow. Oh my gosh. Sorry to the 99. If I don't get 100, you got 99, you don't matter. You heard it here. How about you, Casey? Any Support Your Parks weekends plans?
Yeah. We're hosting some friends at the end of the month for a big backyard party. So I was just running back from Home Depot getting some bagger bags, I think they're called. Like they hold
Okay.
3,300 pounds of soil, and we're doing a bunch of landscaping before that. So my head is down. I might tune in through EchoCat just to hear some of the activity, but I don't think I'll be activating much.
No public, faced contacts. You might be over in the corner whispering to your phone, but
right, exactly.
You gotta make the backyard look good before you have all those big backyard bashes for the summer, right? You got like America's 250th.
Right.
So 4th of July is gonna be off the hook this year.
It's gonna be big.
My
house 100 years old.
I'm gonna be in England for the 4th of July. I'm such a traitor.
Yeah. Would you just drink tea? What do you do?
Yeah, exactly right. You just ignore us and flip your middle finger up there, your pinky finger up. Those English.
those colonials.
Yeah, well, I refuse to be called one. But all right, well, with that, a sports parks weekend, I guess for me, we've got some club plans. We've got a couple meetups. I don't know what the deal is. We still struggle up here in New England with trying to get the park service to like open gates and things of that nature, especially as we get closer. So,
is it too early in the season?
Yeah, well, so typically the season starts Memorial Day, and that's when the parks are fully wide open. But you can kind of, if you have the inn around here and you know how to work the park system, you can kind of get a few cleanup crews to leave the gate wide open. Otherwise you're usually hiking into a lot of the better parks that have like super RF quiet noise floors and stuff like that. So for what it's worth, it will scare away the bigger majority of people from having to hike in, but at the same time, you're definitely going to get...
What parks are these?
Pillsbury State Park. You ever been there?
No.
Oh, you got to go. That is a super RF quiet park, but, it is very remote.
When Grouch and I went to Robert Frost, that's not exactly remote. It was extremely RF quiet.
Yeah, but where he parks is a small little space, and you can't put many people in that small little space. So, and it's not, Pillsbury is a very state park thing, but it's also very clean and very organized. And so if the gates are open, you can get in there and they have a nice pavilion and stuff. But when it's not, you got to park on the side of the road and hike in. So, it's a little bit challenging for some. Well, cool. All right. Well, with that, we've got a lot to go into in a bit. So let's kind of get through some of our usuals here, like we always like to do. Like I said, we've got a great guest on today, Casey here to talk about POTACAT and EchoCat. And you might have been seeing some of the buzz that's out there. I know he's been on a few shows, WD4DAN show, and then the Ham Radio Wilderness. So, he's definitely getting the word out there, and a lot of people are getting super excited. And so looking forward to hearing more on that. So let's dive over to our usual POTA Minute here real quick, and we'll get through this. All right, this is the POTA Minute. It's one small idea, one real-world observation. 60 seconds is all we got, so we're just getting you thinking. There's no right answer here, so just remember that if it's stuff you start noticing after a few activations or a few hundred hunts, let me know in the chat if this has happened to you. Say so. Maybe if you do differently, definitely even better. Let us know. And so let's get into the Hayes POTA Minute. Why POTA keeps people coming back? Well, bottom line, POTA sticks because it's flexible, and that ain't too far from the truth. Anybody who comes into the Parks on the Air program, you're all welcome. That's the nice part about this whole, we'll say organization or just, movement here. No matter whether you're a CW person or you're sideband or you're digital or you're a mix of all three, or you're just into testing and learning how to hone your equipment, you're all welcome. So, whether if you are one that does short activations like myself, or you're Shannon who has to do 100 or more in order to be, feeling, like she's complete and whole, or simple setups or complex ones, or even worse, you go to meetups, the loud and the quiet days, So all of it's welcome. Everybody has some fun there and enjoy it, because they just do it their flavor, and everybody learns from stuff, and it meets you where you are. That's one thing I love about it. and it keeps you showing up, which is why it's been so popular. And so until that changes, which I don't think it ever will, because that's always kind of been the mission, we will forever have POTA, even into our, late 60s, which would be really cool. I don't know what that'll look like in terms of the world of, remote radio activations and stuff like that. But, hey, it'll bring a new flavor of radio for sure.
I think there's always been people POTAing. They just didn't call it POTA.
Yeah, well, okay. There were a few adventurous types that definitely hauled their gear out in a vehicle called roving or whatever. But they were very contesty kind of guys. Like a KI1P Kip, Chris up in Vermont, and he drives around in a van with a big kilowatt and, of large antennas and stuff. So it's all good and all welcome. So. All right. With that, let's head over here. What the heck? I've got a different screen share here.
Yeah, and
let's
you lost Casey.
No, I didn't. I just had to bring him in.
Okay.
He's like the the wizard over here.
I just want to throw this out there to everybody that's watching. Okay, don't panic, but I am probably gonna have to leave around like 1:45, 2 o'clock ish. Because we moved the show to a later time. I have to go pick Miles up at school, and then I'm taking him to see Super Mario Galaxy at the Jordan's Furniture IMAX in Reading. So
cool.
You heard it here. She'll be live streaming all the way there.
Showtime's at 4 o'clock if you want to come meet me.
No, I've got too much on my plate, girlfriend. Sorry, not today. All right. Well, like I said, guys, we got a little something different, and honestly, it's something I've been looking forward to. When I saw this on Jason KM4ACK's channel first time out, I was like, ooh, something new, unique, and not just a logger. I mean, it's kind of funny because like when I mentioned it to a few other people, they're like, oh, is it just another logger? I'm like, no, guys, it is not. the way it's built, the way Casey's taking it from the ground up, it is pretty impressive. And it's starting to get a lot of traction here. And so I'm going to throw it over. And so if you're just joining now, again, we've got Casey, K3SBP, right? Is that your call sign? Yep. Yeah, cool. And he's the developer, the brain, big brain behind POTACAT here. So everybody, welcome, Casey. And so, Casey, go ahead. Give us a little bit of your origin story here. And tell us, how POTACAT kind of came around and go from there.
Yeah, great. Thank you for having me. I watched some back episodes, and I'm pretty excited to be here.
Sweet.
So I'm relatively new into the ham space. I grew up as kind of a tinkerer, but not a very good tinkerer. My dad was a salesman at IBM. My siblings went through to IBM to do sales. It's like that's kind of the world. So it was like technology, but it's also like sales. It wasn't like programming. I remember as a kid, we had moved from the Detroit area to northern Michigan to like the Traverse City area, and I picked up a Microsoft Certified System Engineer book, and I was studying it, and I found that stuff interesting, but like I never learned enough. I was interested in hacking, but I was absolutely a script kiddie. I didn't know any of this stuff. And, I've just always been interested, and I really feel like. I have this I don't know, stubbornness of sticking to a problem, probably for longer than I should.
Not a bad thing.
In this situation, it worked out well. So a buddy of mine came to my place in Philly a few years ago and pulled out his IC 705 with a little Tar Heel, and it was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. I couldn't believe that it took him so long to set it up. Common mode current. His computer started restarting, and like I was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like this is dumb."
Was he listening to our conversation?
I was gonna say we were just talking about Tar Heels and how ugly they look.
Oh yeah, and I just thought it was like such a silly thing, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And I don't know how it happened, but over time it just kind of like ate away at me. Maybe I was watching a YouTube video, and I just got into it. And obviously I followed what a lot of people do, which is follow Hammer Your Crash Course.
Oh, okay. HRCC, yep.
Yeah, and Josh is he just does a great job of kind of getting nerdy. I also found that like I've always been a Windows guy, and I've got Raspberry Pis in my house and whatever, so like I'm comfortable-ish with Linux, but I found that so much ham stuff is a Windows thing. So I kind of had the hardware for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found the tech prepper and kind of went that route, trying to justify this. Instead of like a hobby, I thought, I need to do it for a good reason. So I went the tech prepper route and picked up my first radio, an 857D. And, that was a fun radio, but I missed stuff about it. So kind of how it goes from there, that's like 2024. And I got my technician, and then a year later, I got my technician and I bought, a handy talkie, and I just didn't want to check in with nets and stuff. That just wasn't for me. And I was looking for more, and I'm looking for kind of the puzzle to solve on it and have some fun with that. And I really liked the idea of POTA and CW. So then I picked up a FTDX10.
Okay.
And that gave me just a lot more, and I was excited about it. But then, as I found out about FT8, how do you do FT8 on an FTDX10? Well, I had a Intel NUC computer, and I plugged it into the radio, and then I would remote desktop into it, and I would squeeze it on my phone, and it was like so small to touch stuff, and it just was a terrible user interface. Like, it worked, but I just wanted more. So I looked into their SCU LAN 10. It's like $290.
Yeah.
And like no one likes it.
Nope.
So long story short, I said, if I'm going to play remote radio, I want to play remote radio with the remote radio. I want a Flex. So I picked up a Flex, and it's awesome. And I'm like barely scratching the surface of what the Flex can do, just for the first time ever. Last week, I think I did my first like two slice Flex kind of time.
Oh boy. Yep.
Yeah, and I can do 4 slices, I mean, I can have multiple antennas. A lot of fun. But for me and my lifestyle, I've got young kids. We recently moved and bought this old house. I've got a yard that I have to like redo. I have a lot in my life. And when I play radio, I don't have the time right now to go sit and play at a park. Yeah. Yep. So I want to be able to hop in, play for 10 minutes, and hop out. So my whole thought is like, how do I do CW in bed? How do I chase parks while I'm driving? How do I go for a walk and check in and chase a park? Like that was my whole kind of, that's how I want to play radio right now. And that's kind of what I set out to do.
Yeah, well, you've done a phenomenal job with the app, and it's one of those community kind of driven apps where, feedback is one of those cycles that I love to see, because, a lot of developers will just develop something because they wanted to solve a problem for themselves, but didn't think the bigger picture of like, oh, you could do this for many other things. And so, it's very cool to see, that evolution process. And I've been watching you on other shows and stuff like that, and just the whole explanation. But, for us, it sounds like you've really just decided that, with the radios you had, you wanted more out of them, but you didn't want more in the sense of what traditional hams, you're in your shack, you use your radio. It's like that one-to-one connection. You wanted to have, you wanted to cut the cord, I think is the best way to say it.
I wanted to cut the cord, yeah. But also, when I sit down, I mean, just think, like, if you're going to sit at home and you're going to go chase a park, you're going to turn on your computer, you're going to open up, I like CW, so I open up the reverse beacon network, and then I see how far out I'm getting. And then I'm going to open up POTA.app, and I'm going to see who's out there. And then I'm going to go tune the VFO based on POTA.app.
Yep.
It's like, it's not impossible. And if you have everything at your desk, it's not hard. But it just felt silly. So on Flex, on Smart SDR, Marcus's app, inside of that app that controls the Flex radio, there's a POTA component, and it shows all the parks. And if I clicked one, it QSY'd my radio. It changed the frequency and mode on my radio. And to me, that was my first major aha at, oh, cat control for that. Now that's useful. And I like it, but I didn't have it on my computer.
Nope.
Like, I have it on my iPhone. I have it on my tablet that I don't use, but I don't have it on my computer, and my computer's where I want to be.
Right.
So what I set out to build was effectively, to start off, a table on my computer that shows me all of the activators, and if I click one of them, it tunes my radio. That was the first idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good start. I mean, in essence, I'm sure it wasn't like, oh, the world's all good and well now. You probably wanted to go further than that, but yeah, once you realized.
There's no scope creep if you don't define a scope,
True.
So,
true.
So it became then, well, what is the other thing that I have up there? Well, I have the reverse beacon network, Well, the reverse beacon network has a telnet, so I can just pull that information in and I can just put it on a map. Great, now I can use a map. Wait, now I can visualize my spots on a map. I can reuse that map. So that was really cool for me. And then I thought, okay, but then where am I going to log? Like, I've been logging forever at QRZ.com. Like, I'll literally pull up QRZ, I'll type in your call sign, and then I'll add you as a log. It's inefficient. Yeah. But I don't really want my phone for Polo on it, because then I have a phone and a computer. It's just like too many things. Yep. So I said, okay, well, I could probably just build a logbook inside of this. And then it's one step after the other of the features and what got added. And then people came and started using it and saying, well, could you add this to N3FJP's AC log? I was like, sure, I can push that over. Could you add this to Ham Radio Deluxe? Yeah, sure, we can pass the same logbook over. Can you send stuff to, can you do respots for POTA, respots for SOTA? Can you add a telnet for DX clusters? So all of that stuff just kind of came naturally out of people's requests. And I'll tell you, I've learned more in the last few months about radio than I had in the years prior.
that is always the comment I hear back. I mean, I've talked with Sebastian doing his Polo app and all of that, and that's always the same kind of feedback. It's like, I learned more about ham radio doing all of these like small little niche things or nuances, and it's like, why is and I've been at ham 30 years, so I know that the issue is that, well, we just always have done it this way. It's always disconnected. Right. It's always like, I try to cable it and we can solder and make connections, and that's how we build those bridges. But software and abstract layers and all that stuff now is almost the norm, like you've obviously discovered. And so why just not look at the radio as just a connection point and how you control that? And so
in this radio, like this radio specifically, the QMX to me is like, I built this last year. And I didn't do a good job. I had to send it off to someone, and they had to do a bunch of repair work. Right? Okay, good. So I built this QMX. So after I built the initial versions of POTACAT, which really are the table view, which I can show it a bit, and like the map view and stuff. I thought to myself, okay, what is my flex radio besides expensive? Like, what is it? It's a radio with a computer built into it and a network card built into it. And then on the face of it, because I have the Maestro, it also has like a screen. But the most important thing is radio, computer, network card. Those three things. And then I thought, well, here's a radio, here's a computer, there's a network card. Why can't I control this radio like my Flex from my phone? And I thought that the way to do that was like literally a remote control. I think of like this remote control, like for my speakers. It's not smart. It just sends a message. And then all the kind of the compute happens inside of the hardware, not in the remote control. And I don't want to build an iOS app. I don't want to maintain an iOS app. I don't want to deal with that stuff. I don't want to build an Android app. So my thought was, couldn't I just expose a page through like a web RTC server that I could access through my phone that could control my computer? And the answer was yes. And then as that progressed, I went to the next level, which was, can I send audio through that server to my phone? And the answer is yes. And then it became, can I use my phone as a push-to-talk through to my computer, to my radio, so I can be in the checkout line at Trader Joe's chasing POTA? And the answer is yes. And I can do that on the QMX because the incredible developer there built the single sideband firmware for this. So this radio that you can build for, whatever, $100 and a lot of crying.
There are definitely a lot of tears.
Yeah, a lot of tears. You can build this, and then you can have a remote radio that you use on your phone. And then the thing that I'm like super jazzed about right now, I don't know if you've been following inside of the POTACAT Discord, the speaker mic conversation.
Oh, I've not. But
man, last night major stuff happened. So, all right, I had one of the POTACAT users, he sent me this Enrico microphone. Cool little push to talk. Won't work on an iPhone because it sends a command that the iPhone won't read on a web page, would only read on an app. And again, I don't want to build an app.
Right.
It's cool, but like if you read the reviews on the Enrico B01, people kind of hate it. It just doesn't work well. The microphone quality kind of sucks. The speaker quality kind of sucks. But I went on FCC info. Like there's these websites that do like, they show all the FCC testing for FCC IDs. And it had a full teardown of this. I look at it and I see a chipset and I Google the chipset and it's just a Bluetooth chipset. It's like, Well, an ESP32 chip like this is the ESP32 S3 Sense.
Yep.
So the Sense just has a hat on top of the ESP32. This thing is like $15, $20. It's like that does Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and the Sense has a microphone on it. Could this operate now as this?
Yeah. Nice.
And the answer is yes, it can. So last night I spent way too much time. I stayed up way too late, and you'll see this cable hanging off of it. If I short pin 1 to ground, it PTTs my phone. And I speak into the little I2C microphone on this, and it transmits from this device through to my phone, to my computer, to my radio, and out into the world.
Wow. Now, you might be opening a door to something super huge, because obviously in the realm that you're operating in, the one big thing that obviously Apple users suffer a lot of is that, being able to do FT8. Like there's a couple of devices that I know won't work with certain Bluetooth chips, and there was one that came out in TeamU and stuff like that. I scooped it up, did a review on it, and it barely worked with the FT8CN and the 891. But everyone's like, well, just reverse engineer it. And it's because it was just a Bluetooth chip. But I don't have the intelligence to go that far. But if you've already kind of made that work, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be anything for the matter of as long as you put audio and data over the same chip.
Right. So yeah, the ESP32 chip is like on board. It's just a beautiful, simple, well-built, inexpensive chipset. Can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
You know how to do that.
So yeah I've got. You got to see this guy. He blew me away. So here we are inside the POTACAT. Let's see if it shows. Great. So here's the POTACAT Discord, and one of the users, I asked him, Dean KQ480J. I said, hey, Dean, I got this crazy idea for a speaker mic. I said, does anyone have any 3D modeling experience? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, okay, well, here's my parts list, and here's what I'm thinking about building. Is this something that you think we could design? And he was like, yeah, just give me a couple days. The dude designed it comprehensively. So here's kind of the final build looks like. So we have the ESP32 chip down here. We have a speaker. You can get 6 of these speakers for $8. There are a series of buttons. There is a battery inside, and then there's a amplifier board. And he found some buttons, and I just ordered the buttons. Currently on my print bed right now, I have the speaker mic. I was going to show it to you. It just finished, but let's just take a peek, see how it looks. I guess you can't see that.
Can you make it full screen?
Yeah, I put it on a different screen. Let me fix that. I'll stop sharing and do it on my primary screen. I'll move you guys. All right. Here we go. So if I now share full screen here. Okay, so you can see now, there you go. So this is, the mic top on the print bed, kind of the design of it. Here is mine. It looks like it just finished. So I have it right here on my print bed.
Nice.
Down in the basement. I had a ton of problem with it today, just generating a bunch of spaghetti because I don't know how to 3D print. But I think that's reasonably resolved now. And the next steps are to load this in, kind of build all the hardware out, tie it all together. But last night I got the software working. And to me, it's just such a thrilling thing to have this idea of imagine you're going to be able, if you have a 3D printer and a soldering iron, and you can buy it's going to be about maybe $35 worth of hardware. If you buy the hardware for it, and you can solder, it's going to be 8 or 10 leads. That's it. You're going to have a full PTT speaker mic in whatever color you print it in with your call sign on it. You hang it from you. This is going to communicate to your phone, to your radio, out to the world, bouncing off the ionosphere. To me, that's exciting. And then we have buttons on top. The buttons are addressable buttons. What do you want them to do? Do you want one to scan to the next frequency to see who else is activating? Do you want one to, if you double tap it, do you want it to do your ATU to tune your radio? You can do that all from this right here.
And it's platform agnostic, so it doesn't matter iOS or Android. Oh,
Doesn't
wow.
matter. Yep, because it's
Cool.
all just on a website.
I think,
The only
I think
difference
you just
is
cracked the
on
code.
on. Oh, sorry. Let me fix that. The only thing is on app on iOS. The issue is that iOS won't show. iOS limits Bluetooth low energy. So to access this, you'll have to use it through the free app called Bluefy. So Bluefy is an app that handles Bluetooth low energy, and it passes it onto a website for you. So that's the only difference, but it's like such a minor difference.
Right. Yeah. Versus having nothing at all. Which
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
always been the problem on iOS. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
or I
good.
build an app, but to me, just
we're kind of
building
in
the
the weeds, which is pretty cool, and this is awesome because it's very cool to
little
see that
nerdy.
this stuff is just really getting nerdy, and it's this is just kind of exploding into something way bigger than just another app out there kind of thing. So
Yeah.
for those that don't know what POTACAT is, you want to kind of do a little kind of quick walkthrough demo and kind of give people an idea of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I will share my screen here in just a second. Let me just troubleshoot for 1 second. Can you just chat for a second? Looks like
Yeah, no problem. Hey, Shannon, who do we got in the chat?
We got Prep Ham Paul. We got Don N5SKT. So thank you, Don.
Don is
for
here.
getting
Don's a
us
king
in touch.
over in the POTACAT channels.
Thank you for getting us in touch with Casey. Don, you are a legend in the game.
He is.
James, KI5OEB we have. And we got Gamer Kid 05. We got Ham Radio Hef. So we got the whole gangs here.
Sweet. Cool. And Prep Handball, I did see your post. No, it is not about feline neutering or spading. Sorry.
That's the next app update.
That'll be the enhancement that you have to pay for.
Exactly. All right. I'd love to share my screen and show you. I'll move you guys over
Yeah,
here.
there. Cool.
Okay, great. So I've done this before in dark mode. I'm just going to switch to light mode. Just maybe this will be easier for some folks to see. So here we are in light mode. This is POTACAT. Kind of at its core, its kind of initial functionality, I think, is best seen here. So the idea of POTACAT is we have a table view of different activators that have been spotted with their names pulled in from QRZ, their frequency, their mode, and then if they're a DX, a SOTA, or a POTA. If they're a POTA, what's their park? If they're a SOTA, what state they're in, their distance, how old the spot is, and then if you don't want to see them anymore, you can skip them. And this basic idea is, let's just say right now, I want to look at 20 meters CW, and for spots, I only want to see POTA spots. So here I am looking at exclusively who's on POTA. This is like me, POTA.app, and I'm just saying CW, 20 meters, that's it. So everybody. You'll see behind the screen, this VFO is for my Flex. And if I click Paul, W4LOO, I QSY directly to him. So now if I'm on my radio, I can just see, can I even hear him? And it doesn't look like I can. But how cool for me this was. And then the next kind of big aha for me was, okay, I have kind of a compromised antenna. It's just a wire in a tree. I'm going to like play around the office for a little bit, and I want to see who I can hear. So I just flick the scan button, and now it dwells for 3 seconds, and then it moves and increments to the next one. Dwells for 3 seconds, increments to the next one. And that dwell time you can establish.
And it plays the audio for that 3 seconds?
Yeah, so I'll hear the audio for that 3 seconds coming out of my radio over there. Or, as of just a couple days ago, there's a VFO knob. So here's the VFO knob. And on the VFO knob, I can hit this button, which now sends the audio out. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, we can hear it. Yep.
Okay, great. So now I'm operating. I have a true VFO knob here that I can spin as well. Find me a spot if I want, kind of like listen through the bands. It's going to show me who's activating on it, who's been spotted on POTA, their name, their country, their park number, all that information there. If I'm talking to them, and I can PTT and talk, just like that. I can also log the conversation, log the activator here. If you put in their call sign, it shows you their name. And then if it's POTA, you can put in your park reference. If you have a 2-fer or a 3-fer, you just comma separate those park numbers. Everything else is pre-selected. And one of the things that some of the folks inside the Discord want is they just want simplicity. If they're working KQ3Q here and they hit log, they want to hit log 599, enter.
Right.
So you'll see that right here, the focus is on the first 599. So they could just hit tab, enter, and it logs. And that simplicity and speed allows people to work quickly when they're on their computer and not like fuss. I think that's pretty exciting.
Now, just question in terms of those types of contexts, how are you usually handling like multi-activators at a park or that type of stuff? Is all that you're just pulling, if the spot page shows it appropriately, you're just pulling that stuff in automatically and creating separate contacts for each of those people, or?
Yeah, so two things will happen. Maybe if I open it all up here. Here we go. So we've got 3 people activating. It looks like, activating at the same park on the same frequency because they're on FT8.
Yep.
FT8 is, we treat this differently. So that's actually not a great example. Isn't any other doubles up? Here's 2. So Karen and Joanna are both on 14255 single sideband at the same park. So if I click here, the app doesn't know who I'm talking to. So it's going to select both of them. And then when I go to log, it's going to log the first person that I clicked. Okay. If I want to add the other call sign, I would just add, W3KBW, and then I can move my way down, and that would add my 2 people, or maybe there's 2 park references too, US 123. If I hit save, that would create 4 separate logs.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And then it respots here to POTA. If it's a SOTA log, it will respot to SOTA. All that stuff happens automatically unless you don't want it to, and then you just turn it off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's a couple other things that I think are pretty exciting. I don't know, like I feel delighted by some of this stuff. Like that's what I'm going for. Like I want it to kind of surprise and delight me how easy it is.
Sure.
So some of those things here are S meter and SWR meter up at the top by the VFO. Recently added a VFO lock as well. If I click, you'll see that the VFO is locked.
Mm-hmm. So it won't QSY yet. Okay.
It won't QSY yet. And then we've got CW here. So if I go to a CW activator here, Brian, this is KG8CO. Brian is keying at 24 words a minute. My keyer is set to 20. If I want to beat him, I just hit sync, and now I'm going to key at 24 words a minute instantly. So the keyer that's built into POTACAT is all ready to go to match his speed. This is usually helpful to drop down to the speed that someone's activating at if you're faster.
Now, is it decoding too as well, and then everything?
Okay, I mean that's a whole conversation. The answer is no. I built a decoder called CWCAT. I hate it. It's IQ stream decoding for the Flex Radio. Works great for mine. For some reason, the 6600 and 6500 series, I can't figure it out. I just need to borrow one for a weekend. So right now, I don't have CW decode, but that is something we could add. But I do have.
I was just thinking, as a non-CW guy,
listening, send Casey a Flex Radio so he can try to figure out this CW problem.
The other thing too is, you ever think? I think I'm a Smitty's little device. Why can't I think of what it's called?
Halkey MIDI.
The MIDI key. I thought that actually solved some of their problems with the 6600. Was it? Or maybe that was.
Well, the Halkey MIDI encodes dits and DAWs into MIDI, and then through Netkeyer. It decodes that and sends that over to the Flex Radio. So that works well. I have one. It's behind my desk. I've built a keyer inside of POTACAT to kind of take over. This is another one of the things of what did I want for me? Well, I like what they built with Netkeyer, but I got to open up another application. It's just I have to invoke kind of everything in order to, it felt like a seance every time I wanted to play radio. And it's just easier to go sit in front of the radio and spin the dial.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, as being a non-CW guy myself, having something like that would be almost like cheating, but it'd be really cool to have either way, because then I'd be able to work up to learning, without having to wait to learn and then become, proficient. kind of
Totally.
thing.
Right here is on the VFO side, you can turn on and have CW typing. So if I can type in like CQ, DEK3 SBP and I hit enter, it's going to encode that and send that out through my radio.
Right. Yeah.
I also have CW macros. So the CW macros, you feel a little lazy, hit the CQ button, you send back a 599 if you're working a DX station or whatever. So that exists. Also voice macros. If you're tired of saying CQ, you can record yourself and then just hit that button and play it back.
Okay.
And I think of disabilities. All this like as seen on TV stuff. People wore the Snuggies forever. They were really big for years. The Snuggies weren't made for high schoolers. They were made for people with disabilities, and they sold it publicly. Like all of that as seen on TV stuff. And I thought to myself, like, what are the things that would make things easier for folks that have disabilities? Or, it's like hard for them to do all of this stuff because they're getting older.
Right.
And I think a voice macro is the answer. Like, that's helpful. I think making the $6,000 Flex radio features work on a QMX for $100, like that's helping those people too.
100%. Like, especially where they're, very much that's all they have, and being able to get across the room all the time to be able to play with it or hook it up might be more challenging. But yeah,
someone said on the live stream the other night, they said, because of POTACAT, I don't get off the couch as much.
You're developing lazy people.
Yeah, right. Then maybe I am.
Maybe that's a new tagline for POTACAT.
Yeah,
we bring the lazy out in you.
A couple other things in here. This was just added to last night. Just like a massive update to HF nets that are coming up, and then shortwave listening. So on the HF nets, you can subscribe to this so it can show in your table view, and you can get a reminder when an HF net is coming up. Maybe you're into the Rooster net or the Buzzards Roost net. You can subscribe to this. It'll always kind of show. That way, if you're at your desk, you'll know and you'll be able to tune in. And these, again, are just like one-click QSY. So I can just see, can I hear these folks right now talking? And are the bands that bad right now?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, so a couple things. Especially since before I have to go because I have to go and get miles and stuff. But so like you said, you were trying to solve a problem for yourself. You're a busy guy. You have young kids. I have a 7-year-old son too. I've been a ham since 2020. So since he was like about 18 months old. So especially in the beginning, it was very hard for me to be active on the air because, I didn't have long stretches of time. But, so all great inventions come about because they're trying to solve a problem. And if it's a problem for you, it's probably a problem too for someone else. So
that's right.
That's like a great thing that you've come up with here. And I actually hadn't heard of POTACAT until last week when Dawn mentioned it, I think, in the chat. And then, Eric mentioned that he wanted to get you on the show. So Dawn helped facilitate us getting all together. So appreciate that. And I'm learning something new because I've never heard of this POTACAT thing.
Oh, cool.
But, what you just said about the shortwave listening thing to me sounds very cool. Because that's like one of the things I really like to do is like AM, DX shortwave listening. So just starting at like the very end of the, the band on my FTDX10 and just slowly scrolling up in AM mode to see what stations I can hear, see if I can hear their identifying call signs and, where are they from. So having different, known worldwide shortwave radio stations programmed in there is like super cool. So you could just click and see, oh, can I hear Radio Romania right now?
Right.
Or whatever random, things it might be, or Radio Tokyo, or, like the HF nets. So I actually use NetLogger to kind of find different HF nets to find and listen to. That's how I found one of my favorite 80 meter HF nets, the main potato net.
Okay.
So if you're on 80 meters in the evening, check out the main potato net. But, having different HF nets on there is definitely super, super cool.
And the way that this is listed too is if you want to add something, if you think that the main potato net should be on here and it's not, you just click on the Google Sheet, you leave a comment, I get a notification. As long as it looks good, I'll just put it in, and then the Google Sheet is referenced at a regular interval, like every 30 minutes. So everyone will get the update of that. And they'd be able to have that on their view. So for all those SWL junkies, I think it's pretty cool. I want to show you something before you leave, though. This is the thing that I think is, pretty dang exciting, which is called EchoCat. And imagine this is my phone screen. This is what it looks like on my phone. So I go to a special URL, and again, everything in here that I'm showing everyone here is free. It's all free. It's open source. It's cross-platform, Mac, Linux, Windows. I'll tell you, it's easiest to install it on Windows, but you can absolutely do it on Mac and Linux. You just have to spend a little time in the command prompt or the terminal, and I'll help you if you come to the Discord. In time, I'll have packages kind of built out for everyone.
Do you have a link to your Discord that we can put out?
Yep, I'll throw that in a second.
Yeah, just potacat.com/Discord. It's a redirect for it. All right, so this is EchoCat. Imagine this is on your phone. And the first thing you're going to do is tap to connect audio. It's going to get a microphone approval. You tap again, and here we are. On my phone, imagine this is me holding my phone, and I'm at Trader Joe's, and I hit PTT. I'm transmitting. Just like that, I'm transmitting. So I click here, and I want to go chase K4 ISU. I click it. You see, as I click this, behind it, my flex actually changes its frequency. So this is my phone changing the frequency again and again. I can move around and check everyone out. I can do the scan function while I'm driving my car and have it just scan, and I'm finding the next station that's available for me. I hit stop. I wait my turn. I PTT. We can chat.
Oh.
Inside here, there's a map function too. Do you want to see where everyone is? You're like, there was a guy in Georgia. Who was it? We click here, boom. I just QSY'd to the spot in Georgia on my phone, and I can PTT to talk to them. I can log a contact. I have my logbook. This logbook is really just viewing my POTACAT desktop logbook. It's just accessing my home computer from my phone. So if I save something in the logbook, it doesn't save it in my phone. It saves it on my desktop computer. If I want to activate, I can go and activate and use this as my logbook. And if I want to play FT8, this is pretty fun. Let me turn off the audio.
Right.
I don't know
like
how.
Oh, come on. You guys don't like the sound of FT8? It's like ASMR for me.
Oh, that's so wrong.
As I think about it, I don't know how to turn it off. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do it.
Talk to the developer. We aren't hearing it right now, but.
Okay, as you can see, like everything's here, and I can click, and now I'm working this station on FT8 from my phone. And again, it's from my phone, but my computer's doing all the work.
Wow. And just to clarify, like for those that, I mean, obviously Flex has kind of been in the background a little bit, but this is just with any radio that has cat control that you use through EchoCat.
That's right. Yep. Oh. CIB radios, anything that connects to HamLib, any IP radios. So anything that works with Thetis, like the Anon and the Hermes Light, all of those work.
Yeah. So there's no excuse, guys. There's no reason why you can't download this and start playing with your radio, and with probably like an hour worth of your time just getting it set up and tweaked the way you want. You'd have total access from all of those times, all those old gentlemen that are sitting there in the mall waiting for their wives to get out of their stores. They could be playing ham radio.
They could be playing radio. So this is the directory for you, Shannon. If you have your phone, like last night I was out mowing the lawn and I have noise canceling headphones. I was like, what am I going to listen to? I was listening to Ham Radio Workbench. And I was like, well, what nets are out? I flip over to directory. I see the nets. I QSY to a net. I'm listening to the guys check in. Super fun.
Wow.
All from right here. And this
You're
is all
inspiring me to want to fix my antenna so I have my radio at home again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Inside here, you can choose your rig. So you might have 2 rigs at home that are connected to your computer. You can switch between them. You've got a couple cat controls that you can do on the go. I can extend this more, but it's like noise blank ATU, filter size. This is what I pushed last night as a proof of concept, and it works to be able to connect this little microcontroller, which will be inside of the push to talk button speaker mic. So that's this functionality. And then you have kind of unlimited control with all these settings. The number of settings I have in here, I think, is really kind of excessive. You want to see someone's name, like their first name? Now, first names will show when we go back to spots. We have people's names now displaying.
Man, like this is making me think at this point, because I mean, I've got HF in the truck 100% and working towards basically just a full autonomous running off its own battery, kind of setup and whatnot. Having a small little like, Nook setup in there, running this whole thing over the hotspot feature.
Yeah.
Might be pretty slick.
Okay, there's a guy named Terry in Texas who sent me a message on Facebook. Terry has an older truck. He has a double din stereo spot, like where his stereo used to go. He replaced it with an Android tablet. He installed POTACAT on it, and he's cruising around in his truck, eating a hamburger, checking in on POTA.
That definitely has some possibilities, man.
Yeah,
being able to pull up to a POTA park literally and have this black vehicle like with nobody in it, but then working from the bench, operating the radio from within the vehicle, that would be pretty slick.
There you go. Yeah, if you can move the radio around. I also added free DV. This needs more testing, but it's working, I'll say, hesitantly. I think free DV is super cool. So for some folks, they can just keep it on and keep that squelch up, and you hear nothing on your phone until someone breaks through the noise with a free DV check-in.
Oh, nice. You got to jump, Shannon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that, you know what? I'm going to say peace out, guys, but this is super interesting. I'm going to join that POTACAT Discord because if anyone knows me, they know I love a good Discord. I'm in like probably 999 Discords. And we're going to figure out how to get this running with the FTDX10 and fix my long wire antenna. So I can POTACAT from, the school pickup line.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. That's it. We've got a woman, Mallory, and that's exactly what she said. She was playing with a tiny MIDI paddle, chasing POTA on CW in the pickup line for her son at school. That felt like a move.
This is huge.
FT8 while folding laundry.
And everyone. All right. Everybody have a great day. I look forward to seeing you guys next week on the show, 7-3.
Very cool. Adios. So, awesome. Let me drop her off real quick. So,
is there more you want to see in this? Like, what else can I show you?
Well, so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot, I'm sure. And I know, because I kind of done a little bit of deep dive watching on Dan's show and Dan doing the whole walkthrough and whatnot. But I mean, any other cool little features or stuff you kind of want to get into?
Map view. I mean, to me, this is helpful for me. So if we throw in a couple things like DX clusters, the other typical spots, we can see them. It takes a second to populate DX. It queries the telnet and it takes a minute. Man, my video. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I got a little gremlin in my camera.
It's normal. Sadly, I have the same issue with mine. I just decided to take a vacation for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. So I like this to be able to see this. Oh, I'm only looking at 20 meters, so let me just switch over to 40. We'll let this populate for a second.
Yeah, I think like where I would see this work well for me is I literally have my Flex up on the upper screen here on a 50-inch screen, and I got WSJTX running, and then I've got some of the helper apps with the whole Flex kind of world just to make my life easier. But like I can already see 4 of those apps disappearing and really not have to have anything except the Flex app up and for SDR and POTACAT and the fact that it's got a whole, map database and everything's all real time. I mean, that's like a dashboard in and alone, for me that I could just roll up to, click, and lo and behold, I'm on the air working. So that's pretty appealing.
Yeah, I love to hear that. Just like simplifying everything is kind of what I'm after. One of the things that I pushed last night that isn't working great yet, but it is pulling in the ops photo from QRZ.
Oh, cool.
So if you're here, let's see if I can get anyone. It's going to be easier probably in table view to see. We'll drop the map view. There you go. There's Steve's face.
Oh, nice.
Like if you want to see the op, and maybe that's interesting for you. I feel like
some people
if I'm working with someone continually, I kind of want to know what they look like.
Yeah. Well, sadly, there's no standard as QRZ. It's like you could get 90% of those photos are all going to be shacks with maybe 10% of people's faces.
Or cats.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Now, so here's a question for you. Like, would you consider POTACAT in general a replacement to your logger, or you just like it's more just like a functional Swiss Army knife tool with just like, hey, you can use it as a logger, but if you want to stay with your existing logger, go ahead and do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Certainly, you can stay with your existing logger. That's how I've added to it. Let me give this camera a little timeout. Let's see if this fixes it. So the logger, I'll walk you through logger functionality. So in settings, we go over here to more options. And I go to logging. First thing everyone has to do is just enable logging. Once that's enabled, I have like my log here. This is the POTACAT QSO log. Mm-hmm. It's an ATIF file. And you can import all of your logs from anywhere that you want. So if you have logs that you want to get in from Logbook of the World or whatever, you can bring them all in. So now POTACAT knows everything. And why that's helpful is because I've got power users that only want to see parks that they've never worked before and ops that they've never worked before. Huh. So the only way to do that is to have like a tome of all of of everything that you've ever worked before. So that's what exists there. And then you can also send your data to a logbook. So it's this easy. If it's M3FJP AC logger, you just click it.
So you cover a majority of them. Okay.
And the instructions are simple. Yep. They're right here. Yeah. So taking a peek at some of these. I've got most of the big ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I haven't heard of... Oh, actually, no, I know what Wavelog is now. Yeah, that's that web-based one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so here's a question. Is there functionality in it? So say like I know in Polo, the one thing I love about Polo is the repeat offender kind of thing. So like when I get notice of I'm working a station or hunter from an activator standpoint, is there a way to automatically have this, POTACAT say, hey, you've worked this guy 3 times, or, you've had a contact or show you the last contact you've had with them, kind of a log standpoint? Are you doing any of that kind of like meta type stuff when it comes to...
Yes, let me just... There we go. I think I'm back. Okay, it doesn't show when the last time you logged someone was, but it will show oh, man. This thing.
That's okay.
It will show some information as it relates to if you've worked them in the last day UTC.
Okay. All right, so you're getting at least some of that information there. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So last day UTC, I think, is like useful for most folks. Like if I worked you today UTC, I'll work you on the same band and park tomorrow UTC, perhaps.
There you go.
Nice. And I can show you some of that stuff too. So if we look through the settings, we'll just start at station. So there's Hunter and Activator. I'll show you Activator. So Activator changes it. It's kind of a blank screen. I type in my park number, US1234.
Nice.
I start it. I can start my activation. This counts me up to 10. I have everyone that I log here. You can see a past log that I did here. And these are all the people that I worked. I have a map function as well, which shows that map, like how far out I worked.
Okay.
And then for the social media folks, you can share an image. This will push out a like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook stories safe image where the text is in the safe zones. And it's cool. There's like more that I can do for it. That'll happen at a later date. But
no. So do me a favor. Like, so this is kind of one of the things that I'm trying to wrap my head around. In an activation standpoint, obviously you're setting up all your gear, your laptop, all that other stuff on the bench. And now I assume you're basically just, relying on, because when I do my activations, I don't have cat control. I basically am, they're kind of two separate. So kind of a walk through what an average like POTACAT scenario would look like if you were out activating.
I would say it would look like you have your radio, and instead of using Polo, you use this. That's it.
Okay.
They're completely separate. Some folks might activate at a park that has Wi-Fi, but I don't think I solved for that.
Okay.
I would say, honestly, that the activator mode for me is the less exciting thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I think of it more as, and I love Polo. I think it's a great app. I still use it for remote logging, like when I'm at a park. I'll go to a park. I got one by the airport in Philly here. And I'll go down with my KH1 and my phone, and I'll log in hammers. Excuse me, in Polo. To me, that's a nice setup. I've got kind of two simple small things. I'm keying it. It's nice.
Because kind of what I could see here is if we could solve the connectivity issue between the logging component and the device, like it would be phenomenal if I could, because I know Sebastian was kind of talking about like coming up with this way to be able to do cat control over Bluetooth. It would be awesome to be able to have my laptop there or my tablet with, POTACAT running on it, and then have it Bluetooth to the radio, do all the controls over the Bluetooth connection, and then still be able to log it where I don't even have to bring a third cable to be able to pull that data back to POTACAT so it could, manage it. It would be a very interesting scenario. I don't know if it's even feasible.
I mean, if you want to nerd out and talk about it, that could be fun.
Okay.
I don't fully understand what you're asking.
So say like I go out to a park, set up, I've got my 891 on the bench, I've got the antennas and my separate logger. And a lot of times my logger is just a tablet with the Bluetooth keyboard, and I'm using Polo. If I replaced Polo and my tablet with just basically running, POTACAT, having the connectivity between the radio and POTACAT doesn't exist because there's no cabling there. I'm not putting any cabling in.
So it would, yeah. Okay, so then you're suggesting
Bluetooth
cat
is a
control
method.
to the radio over a wireless.
Bluetooth. Yeah,
Bluetooth.
Either wireless or Bluetooth. Either way, I mean, you might have better luck. I don't know how you do it. Maybe through the ESP kind of world, you'd have to create that, connectivity box you plug in the back of the 891 to make it happen. But that would be phenomenal for me because at that point, like I could just basically operate, from the tablet, have no other additional wires, and it'd be kind of a pretty slick solution.
It's a crazy idea. Okay, I mean, if you want to play with it, I'll play with it.
I'll throw it up on the Discord, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I mean, ultimately, the question is, you'd have to have a battery. Well, I mean, I don't know what's on the back of the 891. You'd need to power
mini DIN,
a microcontroller that would then have cat control, and then it would have to have like its own operating system and create kind of like an access point that you're connecting to from the tablet. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's possible. That's fun.
I get you thinking.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. See, these fun problems, they become nuanced to the individual radio. Like today, I was troubleshooting. I have good cat control for a Elecraft K3, but the K4 has a different way that it wants to receive the mode command. So I was missending the mode command. Well, I had to research it and rewrite it and send that instead. So there are those idiosyncrasies that happen, but maybe maybe it's possible.
Yeah, I know Sebastian was trying to solve that, and there was some conversation. I have no idea where it ever went or if it got any further, but that kind of also dovetailed into that challenge that I had with that Bluetooth adapter that was for the 891. It had basically 2 DIN connectors, was getting power as well as the data CIV connection for control, and it worked with just that one FT8CN app. Anything else just saw it as an audio device, and you couldn't control it from the data side. And but the chip, when we tore it apart, the chip was basically just the straight Bluetooth 4 implementation, and had both capabilities. They just didn't, for whatever reason, architect it in or whatever, which is kind of a bummer. But I thought it was kind of a missing kind of component that would have made that thing take off, in a big way, solving a lot of the
what take off.
The 891 having the capabilities outside of just using the USB connection to a physical device. So detethering or disconnecting yourself from, a radio physically, but still being able to command, control, cat, everything in it, and function like, because that's what I love about my Flex. It's like I literally can be anywhere. The software does all the heavy lifting, and if I'm not doing it I'm doing it through, other, cat commands over the, Ethernet. So, it's kind of slick in that nature of being able to have total independence and total control over the device in any which way you want it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, the Flex is certainly a cool radio. And the line that I have for all of this is that I want to democratize remote radio.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what I'm after here. Like my vision is my vision was do the table thing, but really it's the remote radio. I just feel like I'm on the go so much, and other people are too, and they just can't play radio. But I have the 10 minutes while I'm waiting for the pizza or something, and I can go chase a park, and that's pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, we do have 45 minutes as guys in general when we're in the bathroom. So, why not use that time effectively?
Exactly. Exactly.
We can actually say we're doing something with our time.
For sure.
But,
yeah.
So
some of the other stuff in here I just want to share real quick. So when someone sets everything up and they set up their settings, I can't really zoom in I can zoom in here for you.
Yeah.
You add your call sign in. Your call sign's needed for DX clusters, for the reverse beacon network, and then also for logging. Add in your grid square. If you add in your QRZ information, it'll pull the first names of folks. If you have an XML subscription, it's a little buggy, but it's going to be able to sync your stuff in. I just upgraded my XML last night, so I'll be spending time getting this working.
Oh, set so you can push to QRZ. Okay, cool. Yep.
Yeah, I want it to sync to QRZ, automatically. Miles or kilometers. What's your class? I'm a general. You know what I don't want to see? I don't want to see all the extra stuff that I'm missing out on.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I can just hide the stuff that's outside, and then free DV if I want to turn that on. I have a CW keyer. The CW keyer is built on the concept of Netkeyer that came out alongside the Halley MIDI key.
Right.
So this is my kind of build of it. This also will work with the WinKeyer.
Oh, okay.
So for folks that want to rip on the WinKeyer, that works.
Even V-band? You got V-band in there too? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the V-band and Veil, this is a keyboard. So if you all don't know, in CW, you can send CW from a computer to your radio kind of in two ways. You can send it as a keyboard thing. Typically, it's like a square bracket open, square bracket close, or left control, right control. So I can literally hit my keyboard and do CW from my keyboard, hitting the control buttons if I want. It's okay. That's what the V-band does. That's what the Veil can do. And then you have a MIDI paddle. MIDI paddles, that's the Haliki MIDI.
Yep.
And also the tiny MIDI. I'm looking at my desk, but it's black and everything's black. So that plugs in USB-C to the bottom of my phone, and it has capacitive touch paddles. That's super fun. So that's a way to do it as well. And then obviously the WinKeyer. If it's a MIDI device, you choose the device here. You set your bass speed and your CW pitch. 600 is the only right answer. Anyone else who thinks otherwise has no taste for sound.
You're deaf, yes.
Yeah, CW macros. And then we've got a bunch of hotkeys. So hotkeys are used here really for Stream Deck folks. If you've got a Stream Deck and you want a button on your Stream Deck that does an ATU, you just map it to, in this Control-Shift F9 is now ATU for me. So I would go into my Stream Deck and I would map that key. Now a single button and I'm tuning. Pretty fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then in the radio, when you add your rig, I'm getting some pushback from folks, which is totally okay, saying that I should kind of adopt Hamlib a little bit differently. And maybe they're right, but I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to see how to do it a different way. So you call your radio whatever you want. Wife's boyfriend flex. Wife's boyfriend's flex. And then you would just choose the flex that you have. Like maybe he's got an Aurora. And you then choose how you want to connect to it. So this is kind of the easy way for us with flex is you're just going to use maybe slice A or whatever slice you want. But maybe it's an IP radio. Or maybe it's not a flex, and instead you're going to go to Serial Cat, and you're going to find your QMX here with a COM port.
Okay, very cool.
And then there's different...
And so you basically can create several profiles and just select between them. Is there a quick, easy button on the main page, or you have to go
click on Rig? Sorry, you click on Cat, and here they are.
Oh, dude, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so you can swap between them.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and then also we go to spots. So you can have POTA. If you go to pota.app, /pound/user/stats, you can download your hunted parks as a CSV, and then you can hide parks you've already worked. These are for people who really care about numbers, and they only want to focus on winning like the next park.
Okay.
You can also show SOTA, WWFF, LOTA, and then DX clusters. Choose the DX cluster that you want. Usually there's a primary and then two backup. Maybe there's a node that you prefer or a custom node that you want to add in there.
Cool. Okay.
There's beacon stations. Most people don't want to see those. You can also have the terminal bar. So if you want to send terminal commands like
DX
folks do.
Right. Yeah.
This one's fun for me. So I'm a CW op, and I can do a club spot just for CW ops. So if I save this, we see POTA, SOTA, DX, but in a few seconds, you'll start seeing this list populate if any spotted folks are CW ops.
Oh, very cool.
And then I can go work, the Brethren in CW ops or Fists or Straight Key Century Club or whatever.
Right, yeah, 10-10 type of stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can also hide folks that have a max speed beyond you. Like
nice.
a Japanese station ripping 40 words a minute. For me, that's a no-go. Like, I can't do it. Those guys are going nuts.
Yep.
WSJTX integration. So this is a weird one, and I just want to caution anyone from checking this. Like, don't check it because you feel, hey, I use WSJTX. What this check does, and I should add some notes on it, is it relieves cat control from POTACAT, and it turns POTACAT into a UDP communicating device to communicate with WSJTX.
Okay.
So you've opened up WSJTX before, and like it says rig not whatever, cancel, retry, hit configure. It's like that annoying thing, and you did something wrong. You opened up the wrong thing first, or something else had cat control or whatever. WSJTX is super picky about that, which is fine. So when you check this, you're giving up cat control, and instead you're saying WSJTX, you take cat control, and then we'll communicate to you via a UDP packet.
Now, how are you handling some of the newer FT2 standard that is all built in, all set up and ready to go, or are you implementing as it goes?
So my vision for the FTs, I call it JTCat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to a better name, but it's still shorter to say JTCat than it is to say WSJTX.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So here we are, 20 meters, FT8, and you can see kind of what's happening here, and you can see our countdown. So we'll let it go full cycle, and it'll do a decode. So the decode that happens here happens with FT8 lib, so the library there. It's a pretty fast decode. I also have a WASM decoder that I built. What is happening? I don't know why I'm not decoding anything. I'm definitely seeing the signals. That's not cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
I'll tell you, WSJTX. This is a bear to kind of work on. But I've got FT4 and FT2 here.
Okay.
And when you go to FT2, it's going to QSY over to that goofy frequency that they're on.
Yeah, right.
So it's okay. It doesn't work great yet, but it's something that's taken a lot of time to kind of get this far, and I still have a long ways to go on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'd like to be, is that I don't want to open up WSJTX.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, obviously I do in the case where I'm at now, but yeah, having, again, it's kind of funny because, like, if you look back at very early on getting in the logging world, I mean, not hammers. What the heck was the big Swiss Army logging app that did everything? I'm just trying to blank.
Deluxe?
Yeah, Hammer Deluxe. Thank you. And their implementation, how they did a lot of things, you just kind of like, you shook your head and like, okay, I get how they kind of added this later, but they didn't really like build in any, connectivity that made things simplified enough, and it was just layered on top of each other, built on a, Visual Basic world. And at that point, I was like, I'm missing the congruentness, the connectedness, and it's all these apps in a simple place. So it sounds like you're definitely you're realizing that simplicity and smoothness and great UI is also just as important as just getting all the features built in. Yeah, and
I'm taking on less requests from people. Like, I'll do bug fixes, but someone's like, I want this new feature. It's like, can you get 10 people that will come in on POTACAT and say they want it too? Because otherwise, if it's just a you thing, it's probably not worthy of us doing.
Yeah, you'll never. Yeah,
it just
you'll be
creates
chasing
a lot
your
of
tail.
Yeah, tech debt for me to kind of manage and maintain.
Very much so.
A couple other settings here that I think are interesting are on tuning. I want an XIT, so an offset when I do CW. I don't want to zero beat someone. If I talk directly on top of them, it's hard if everyone does that. If you go off a little bit, sometimes you can pierce right through the noise and talk to them. So you pre-select your XIT offset. You might have filter width. Some radios, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think the 891, maybe the 991, I don't know. Some of them have issues with filter width switching when you switch modes.
Yep.
So this forces it every time. It like reminds it, hey, we're going to single sideband and our filter width is 2.7.
Yeah, good.
You can do
That's
split
always
mode. You can auto ATU on band change, which is probably dangerous because that happens. So you change oftentimes to listen and not to transmit, but maybe that's useful for some. If you show a beam heading, then you have PST rotator control.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
I save this. You'll see. I'm zoomed in
heading.
a bit.
Yeah,
but
we see them.
yeah, here's your heading. Yep. If I was to click this, it would have just sent a command out for me to spin my rotor around to go to that spot, which I think is super fun for those folks. We've got Antenna Genius, we've got Tuner Genius, all stuff kind of related to logging. Events coming up. So right now, no one from the ARRL Work All States is live. But if they are, they're going to be decorated with a 250.
Oh, nice.
So it's fun to kind of see those folks. Fun to see. This was old. I should remove it. But 13 Colonies is coming up. So when that's live, I'll see all the 13 Colonies when they come on, and I can go work them. I also have inside of spots. There's some work I need to do here. But if I go inside of spots and go to DXCC Tracker board, you can see where I am right now on getting my DXCC. I have 21 of my 100.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you're doing a little bit of award logging kind of tracking.
Yeah. And maybe
Nice.
you want to say, I just want to do 20 meter CW. I have 7 of my 100 logged. So that's kind of fun. We've got some stuff like that for POTA as well. All the EchoCat stuff here to get it all set up. But it's pretty simple. You really just check a button. I do have a station mode. So a club station mode, if you check this and you hit this create new, it will create a file for you that will effectively create a provision to let specific call signs that have a password use your radio through EchoCat.
Oh, wow.
So you have a club, you got 15 people, they share 3 radios, you can set a schedule. Eric, you get it on Mondays, I get it on Tuesdays, or you get it for 2 hours, I get it for an hour these days. And you kind of get kicked out when you're off time.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And we can limit your band. So band enforcement by license class. So if you're an extra and I'm just a general, you get all the privileges. I'm limited to mine.
Oh, wow, dude, that's nice.
Yeah. For super users, if you go to the EchoCat URL and add 7301.01 is the port, that will open up the remote launcher. The remote launcher lets you restart POTACAT while you're out. It's a second app. So this is, oh shoot, I left home and I didn't start POTACAT.
Wow.
So you go here and you hit the turn on POTACAT button, wait 10 seconds, and then you can go play radio from your phone.
Okay.
On the display side, light and dark mode, solar propagation, it adds it up here. So SFI and A and K index. You have your meters here. You can see that. Maybe you would like to see your, let me get back to table mode. Here is my S meter, and I can kind of move that around it
nice.
if I want.
Yep.
Or you can just have
That's
it over
part
in
of
the VFO.
right? Yeah. Yep.
Here.
Now, a question that just on the map that kind of triggered a thought. With your map configurations, are you pulling in also any of the gray line as well as any of, like, you turn muff and luff on?
No. But we could. I think that could be a fun addition here.
That funny thing with a lot of that stuff is, like, obviously I've just trained myself to, obviously if I tune to a station and I'm not hearing something, I've got had a couple of antennas that I could basically adjust to be able to use to pull that signal out kind of thing. And it would have been, and I started to use that whole muff and luff thinking, okay, well, I know I can only, based off the, propagation today, play within the 20 meter band versus, being able to, go as far as down as 10 mega, 28 megahertz or whatever be the case. And, being able to see that visually would be kind of cool. I mean, that's
that
what
would
I
be really
refer
cool.
the geocron all the time. So yeah.
Yeah. I'd like some geochrony stuff in here. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Another thing that's interesting is that if you set your windows in certain ways, so maybe you're a table view guy. That's what you want to see. But then you also want, let me bring that back. So I'm going to change this to like here. Like that's the table view that I want. And I don't want the heading in there because it kind of jams it all up. So I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to turn off PSD rotor control, and I'm just going to type in heading, show beam heading. There we go.
Nice.
Kind of frees up some space a little bit. Okay, and now I want to pop the map out.
Mm-hmm.
Now the map's going to be here, but I actually don't want the map that big. I want the map like this.
Yep.
And then you say, okay, but I want the VFO as well, so I'm going to pop the VFO out, and I'm going to come over to the settings on the VFO, and I'm going to uncheck all of this stuff that I don't care about.
Yep.
So there we go. So now I have a really tight VFO, and I move everything all around just how I like it. And if I close the window and I come back to it, everything will be in the same exact orientation for me.
Now, does the map orientate to the location that you're pulling in or clicking on or double clicking when you're setting the VFO to?
It doesn't currently. Like, you mean to kind of zoom and show both things?
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Like just a reposition, recenter. Like, okay, I clicked on this park in the middle of Pennsylvania or whatever from the list there, and will it to readjust the map appropriately to zoom in on that space or that area?
Yeah, totally. That's a fun idea. I like your ideas.
I try.
There are some fun things here, like if you take your mouse and highlight it and then scroll your mouse wheel, it will scroll at the increment step that you've defined, which I guess I just hid. Or I can scroll up here. This was a recent ad last night.
Oh, very cool. So I use the flex control knob just because I'm lazy, but
because you have it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There are some fun idiosyncrasies here, like these arc lines aren't perfect. And like, how much time do I really want to spend? Because they kind of have like a little bit of a, I don't know, they're not smooth. Yeah. Or if
but it's still good visual reference, yeah.
Yeah, it works. Like, this is okay, but sometimes I can get someone in China, and it's like shoots straight up to the top, comes over the straight line and straight down,
back down.
It's like the arc is too tall. So there's some of that stuff, but it doesn't hurt. Overall use, I think it still works fine.
Well, it's good to see that, like, as you click on the map, though, it's updating appropriately over in the list of, contacts. So that's pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah, and it looks like, this is all showing as well. What do you do to show these call signs when there's multiple people working a call sign, that have been spotted? So, and then maybe the last thing here is over on cloud. So this is the big idea is if I have your log on my server, I could then have a widget for you, and that widget can display your information. So let me show you what that looks like. So if I come here and I do stats, this widget is embeddable on my QRZ page.
Oh, nice. And it's all updated real time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's real time based on your log.
Very
or
cool.
This one is, what did I do? Recently hunted. Or I can do...
Dude, you've just opened up the major problem I have with OBS and just trying to do, like, when every once in a while, like, 13 Colonies comes up, I'll, like, want to do a live stream, and I've got OBS screens all set up that way, and, I've had to, like, resize and recrop and all other stuff to, like, pull all my flex stuff out, and it's like, that's what I've been looking for, like, activating POTA parks. Like when I used to do hunts on random like lunch times, I'd be like, oh, I'd love to be able to put that information in, and I had to pull it from the log and a cut out, screen cut and stuff like that, and it was never slick. So yeah, dude, you've saved me like 19 hours of rework. Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, so this this syncs up, and it's everyone gets it for 30 days, and like it's the one thing, if you want to use that feature, that's a membership thing. I charge $5 a month for that. It supports ongoing development, but everything else is free and open source completely. Dude, and it's all inside of GitHub. Anyone can pull it down. I've had a bunch of folks go to GitHub recently. I just was on there today and noticed, like, for the last week, 7 issues that they've requested there, and I'm just not looking at that. I'm just in the Discord. So I'm squashing bugs in the Discord. So that's my preference. If anyone finds a bug, come to the Discord, let me know. It's more conversational. I feel like when it's on GitHub, people kind of post it and then they disappear, and I can't ask them to test it again.
Yeah, it's just vibe code, a plug into Discord, feed your feed to GitHub.
Yeah.
But very cool, dude.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is a really really cool app that I think has solved a lot of the struggles with both, like you said, the democracy of radios and making almost radios like an appliance device where you just connect to and you pull the data out of it into whatever interface you prefer. And this is going to, I think for me personally, replace a lot of the disconnected apps that I've kind of built in my Flex ecosystem here on my own system and through my Stream Deck and all of that other stuff, and just make it more simplified and much more of a pleasure to operate.
And a pleasure. That to me, that's what we're all after.
Yeah.
I want to show you real quick some stats. So I built out kind of a dashboard for anyone that uses the cloud log version.
Cool.
And I'm able to look at the growth of QSOs that have happened on a daily basis. So people logging QSOs that are cloud log users, those are the only ones that I have access to. So yesterday we peaked at 141. We'll see how many QSOs. I imagine in a year from now, this will be at a couple thousand a day. We'll have folks that are logging. And you can see Tyler, Tyler's logged 26 QSOs today.
Yep.
It's wild to see. So it's cool to see the use of the app.
I could see, obviously, I don't know if you paid attention to the circles, like Kyle, Alpha 0 Z has been pushing the e-gaming kind of thing. I could see how POTACAT would very much play into that as hey, we're just going to, make a QSY or basically a quick conversation. We can engage each other online kind of thing.
Right.
And then let's just kind of battle it out there in the field and have it all real time, all there, all in the app.
Is he the FT8 battle?
No, that is Ham Radio Dude.
Okay, yeah.
Kyle has done e-gaming where he got slammed hard by a lot of the contesters who were well, we already kind of do this. But he was just like, no, well, I want to be able to spend 30 minutes kind of battling somebody else on a 1v1 or 1v4 kind of an area and, just call out and say who wants to game me and who wants to make as many contacts and see, who can win out of the, 30-minute, session we do. And so this would, this has a lot of play kind of into that sense. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a cool idea. Yeah. Where would I find his stuff?
I'll send it to you after online. I got to dig up his Discord, but yeah, he has a Discord going on for a little while that, he was trying to get more interest in that world.
Yeah.
So very cool.
I think just one of the big things that I want to share here is that I think that people have been gatekeeping radio behind old radios that are hard to use, that have a lot of work just to get it set up. And the joy I have with a KH1 outside with the whip, I don't even hang an antenna most of the time. And I don't get that far, and it's I struggle to make my 10 maybe on a weekday. But that's so fun. And it's what's fun about radio is letting go of all that old kind of grumpiness. And just playing and having fun and tinkering. The quality of people that I've met through this, man, have just been nuts.
Oh yeah, and you got it right, man. The world we're in now. I mean, we don't have the time to always sit in our shacks and spend hours playing ham radio. We're on the go all the time, and Flex has solved that for me. But now that you've opened the floodgates for everybody to have a level playing field to play in that. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the Yaesu camp or the ICOM camp or the Kenwood camp. Everybody plays in the ham lib world, and made it, just basically said, hey, I don't care what radio you want, as long as I can talk to it, then the sky's the limit. So, dude,
and I think we're gonna see more of those radios, like the Zebit X.
Yeah.
Just anyone that has cat control. Cheap radios just anything that has cat control. It's that. That's where we're going with it. I think what they're doing at QRP Labs to me is so exciting.
Yeah.
Because it makes it so cheap for everybody.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, they're literally boiling them down to a smartphone kind of style. I mean, I'm sure once they start to compress it even more and come up with better and faster chipsets, they'll definitely make that thing, almost literally smartphone-ish.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I can't wait. The thing that I'm so excited about, I can't wait for people to take the
That's awesome.
POTACAT speaker mic, wear it, and they're just jamming, they're chatting. It's the fun thing. It's in their car charging. They're just out for a walk. They're talking on this, not on their cell phone.
Yep.
It's all of the fun, but they're operating from their home.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a treat to have that live.
If it takes off as much as I think it's gonna, you are pretty much setting up people to get more on the air and just make more RF, widely available. And like I always say, make RF weird. And so,
Yeah.
keep doing the weird stuff.
Yeah, I think the one last thing here is I'm not doing anything with SSTV, and I just have the itch for it sometimes, because
Sounds like fun.
talk about weird.
Dude, if you could do a two-way like capture kind of like, and if you ever paid attention to the Yazoo world, they had, for at least on the VHF UHF side, they were trying to capture like mic pictures, very like low pixelated kind of things that they were sending through the radio for MCOM kind of things. But it'd be really cool to have a Bluetooth device or something like that mic that was more, we'll say, visual, that you snap a picture, then transmits up to SSTV on the frequencies, and then you're just receiving all that stuff without having to physically be at the radio with a piece of software that's made in the 80s and refuses to get out of its own way.
Oh man, I struggle so much with the SSTV app.
See, I hate it.
It's I mean, is that next? Do we add SSTV into this?
It might be. I might have to hop over the Discord and start offloading all of these great ideas into the chat there. And see.
I really thought my whole thing was I wanted to get everything. I wanted to push something out that I was really proud of by the 18th, which is the big POTA weekend, right?
Event.
The spring
Right.
weekend.
Yep. Sports Parks. Yep.
Yeah,
dude, you've done it. I mean, it is very phenomenal, very great interface. The fact that it has all of the things as a POTA activator or a hunter you'd want, and all the capabilities for controls, dude. You've abstracted the hardware to the point that it really doesn't kind of even exist anymore.
Yeah,
which
right.
is really cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me on and sharing the good word.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so best way to obviously get a hold of you for those that want to reach out or be part of the Discord is what?
Yeah, POTACAT.com.
Okay.
Sorry, as I say that, like a W1AW5. So it's the ARL 250. Oh, it just disappeared. But they were just here, just spotted.
I saw that. Oh, very cool.
Cool to be able to chase them.
Yeah.
So POTACAT.com. On POTACAT.com, there's the link to download. The EXE is for Windows users, and I update that pretty often, a couple times a week, to give you the latest. For other folks, it's a simple build process. I swear it's not hard. You might have to go to the terminal and type in a couple commands, but it's not a big deal. Just like take a couple deep breaths and follow the instructions, or come to Discord if you get stuck. I'll make it easier in the future. That's it. And then at POTACAT.com, you can also click over to the Discord. And we've got, as of today, maybe just shy of 600 folks on there. And we're pretty active. Nice. And some folks are heading out to Xenia next month.
Oh, yeah, right.
And we're going to have a table there. I won't be there. It's my niece's high school graduation.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that. It only comes once.
Miss that. But we'll have a table, so go and look for it. It'll be in the not in like the vendor room. It'll be outside in like the. Have you been? I don't know.
I have not. No, not
like the flea market area will be where it is.
So the boneyard kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll share more about that in the Discord, but we'll have stickers and stuff. And also for 4 days in May, I'm donating a 2-year subscription to POTACAT.
Dude, awesome.
For folks there, yeah, because I love the QRP world.
Oh, dude, yeah. They have a great thing going over there, and that's just getting bigger and bigger every year, and it's awesome to see more and more people like yourself being part of that. So awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Very cool. All right, well, let's put a little bow on today's show, dude. It was awesome. I appreciate you coming on and working, to get you here. I guess there was a lot of folks that were interested in this stuff, and POTACAT definitely did not disappoint for sure. I actually already downloaded it. I just haven't had a chance to install it, but yeah, I'm now going to have to figure out how to stay on course for the rest of the day without actually downloading, finishing updating the software and getting it on the computer here and configured. But very, very cool software. Very, very awesome.
Great.
So with that, let's say, hey, you guys, thanks again for hanging out with us today on Brew Activate. So as we always like to say, remember, whether you're activating or hunting, goal is always simple. Have fun, stay safe, keep exploring. And until next time, keep your radios on, the PT down, and the POTA on.